Christ is risen. Happy Easter, everyone. Today is the day in which the fate of humanity changed. The modern world, it seems to me, has been built on a certain story. The notion that the earth changed sometime in the late 17th century, that humanity was suddenly delivered out of an age of bondage and civilized by man, in an age of reason, with diagrams, microscopes, and eventually electricity. Let there be light, an age of enlightenment, and there was. Well, those events may be well and good, but this notion, this story seems to me, today of all days, to be false, because the bricks were laid long before, and not by men in powdered wigs. The truth, it seems to me, looks more like this, that the world was delivered out of falsehood. Indeed, civilization, as we recognize it, began in the 3rd decade of the 1st century, as N.T. Wright put it, with a Nazarene man of around 30 years old on his death throes on a Roman cross, dying, and suddenly, as I'll put it, not staying dead. If we can believe that, as indeed so many of his followers went painfully to their graves believing, then it seems to me that our world too is changed. Because this man, this Jesus of Nazareth, a rabbi, a miracle worker from the edges of the Roman Empire, is precisely who he said he was. And our entire reality, our entire way of being is transformed as a result. And his words suddenly are the words. Because the final blunt end, death, which you and I are all bound to die, couldn't hold him. His authority is confirmed. This cosmic Christ, the humble warrior, the servant king. Store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, not material things, so let's do it. Show mercy and forgiveness, so let's do it. Love one another, so let's do it. Not a sentiment, mind you, or just being nice, but a way of being. You will be transformed by the one who taught these things. Their legitimacy, it seems to me, is confirmed by what we commemorate today, as the plants and the trees too come back to life and the sun shines again. Fittingly, my own daughter too was born almost 1 year ago. New life comes into the world. Indeed, if it doesn't sound too cliche, I feel as though new life has entered into me since I came slowly but surely to believe that Jesus of Nazareth, a historical figure from 2,000 years ago, is who he said he was. Of course, there are struggles. None of this means life will be easy. But I think more of us should be saying with confidence that what the Enlightenment or the events afterwards purport to hold as true, the whole truth, the scientific truth, is not the whole picture. It's incomplete. We're not merely matter floating around after a cosmic car crash. And for the real civilizing force, we must look to the world of narrative, of mysteries and of wonder, the world that the New Testament speaks of, and the stories of the Christian saints since. The civilized part of the modern world, the part that says might is not right, that we ought not to kick and dispense with those who are weakest, that all human life is sacred, that which created the hospitals and the family, all of that and more has been built by the words of Jesus of Nazareth. I came to accept that before I even believed in him. And for those of you that struggle to take that step today, to stand where I stand, or perhaps to stand where your family or friends stand, you may wish to ask yourself, what would happen if you could believe it? If you could believe in miracles, that Yeshua did not stay in that tomb today, that the terror of evil exists, but it's been overcome by this cosmic warrior sent from outside of time to destroy it, that its grip on the world will be extinguished, that heavenly realities exist, and that today that heaven and this earth are being joined together. All of the world is being reunited with the highest good, who also exists and moves everything. And that I suppose your life is of supreme importance, and it's worth struggling through, it's worth picking up that cross. What might happen if you believe that? Before Lent, I shared my intentions to try fasting this year, and I said that I'd have to come clean with my failures afterwards. And I can say now that I was met with both success and much failure. I came to see my own human weaknesses, and I had to have a break in the fasting on Sundays. After about a week and a half of doing well, I had to have just a small reward of some kind, something sweet or a glass of beer. Hopefully I'll do better next year. The modern world in many ways has made it extremely difficult to see God, even to allow us to ask for God, because it's given us so many substitutes for him. But in those moments where I broke my fast, where I failed, I suppose I was made to see Christ, because I'm not complete in myself. That's not to say that pleasure, a nice pint of beer or such, is a bad thing in itself. Far from it. You know, when I was young, I mistook Christianity for Puritanism, but we're not Puritans. So I saw that need for something greater in my Lenten failures, for the cosmic Christ who wishes to fill us up, to transform us, to lift us, and indeed to save us. I suppose in my fast I was quite suddenly and quite dramatically humbled. Is that a strange thing to say today? Who would want to put themselves through something so that they could be humbled? Well, the author of life himself was humbled. He humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross, as St. Paul wrote in those early decades. Can we summon up the courage in a world which seems to be so unmoored today? Can we summon up that courage to say that Christ came to defeat death, the last enemy, and that today he did it? O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Happy Easter.